Hi, this is Vicki with Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome back to our learning session on emotions. This is our last week on emotions. This week, we're actually going to be focusing on two things that help emotional regulation: art and listening. Kind of a strange combo, huh? Well, art is actually an amazing way to put emotions onto paper, and most children find it relaxing and calming. So, introducing different ways to engage with art opens up new avenues for the child and their emotional growth. Listening doesn't seem like it would be a coping skill, but they are learning about life through words and the experiences they have. When emotions are big, providing them with the words and helping them listen better will help them process these big emotions more effectively. But we'll talk about that more um, later. So let's get started on the first activity of the week. This is activity number 9, blow painting. We can start this by having a child draw a face. It could be happy or sad or angry or whatever emotion they want to actually represent. And then we're ready for the painting. So you want to take your paint and put it into a little bowl and dilute it to be more like watercolors. You want the paint to be thin so it can easily move on the page. If it's thick, it won't be able to move with air. Next, you're going to want to use a spoon and drip the paint around the face. Then, using the straw, blow and the paint will actually move. You need to hold the straw close to your paint, but not close enough to touch it. So, as you blow, the paint will swirl and mix and run off in all different directions, causing uh, crazy patterns. So fun. Well, this is activity number 10, listening games. We're going to play a number of listening games to help our little ones improve their listening skills. So, why are we doing this? Well, listening is one of the key skills that help with emotional growth. In addition to those benefits, hearing and understanding how others feel helps build and strengthen relationships. Starting from their very first experience in schools, they need to be understand what's being said to help keep them safe and to understand what's expected of them by the teacher and the other adults in school. Now, school has lots of routines like lining up and coming back from recess and circle time and requesting to visit the restroom, speaking in class. And all of these are initiated by the teacher and explained by the teacher. Listening. So, beyond the teacher, your child is going to be making friends and colleagues at school. Being able to listen and understand what's being said by their peers will help them build trust and respect with their new friends and will make the process of making friends easier. Finally, listening, well, as we know, is how we learn to speak and express ourselves. A good listener will hear new words, new ways to communicate, and what is important to others, and it'll help them be more successful in their own communication and help them make connections with others. In this post on Class Tag, we've provided some instructions for playing the three games that we're going to be talking about so that you can play them with your child. All of these games work better with more than one child, but work fine with just a parent and a child. The difficulty of the games are listed in the order that they're seen here. So Simon Said is the easiest one, and Which Word Doesn't Belong is the most hard. Our first game is Simon Says, and one of the players is Simon, and basically Simon tells the other players what to do. So if I was Simon, I might say jump up and down, and then the other players would have to jump up and down. Our second game is red light, green light. The idea is someone is the stoplight, and players line up on a line and try to make it to the finish first by conforming with the ideas of the stoplight. So a green light indicates that the players can actually move. And when the stoplight says red, all of the players must stop. Anyone who doesn't stop must go back to the starting line. Normally, there's no running allowed. So green light actually means walk. Yellow light means walk in slow motion, and red light actually means stop. In our last game is a word game where you list 4 words, and then the player has to tell you which word doesn't belong. For an example, in my mind, the list of words that I'm going to share are all pets. So I would say cat, dog, fish, book. Well, book is the word that doesn't belong. Or another example might be foods, where I would say car, banana, ice cream, and french fries. And car is the word that doesn't belong. I hope you enjoy them with your kids. This is activity number 11. We're going to make a paper collage. A collage is just a set of materials that are put together that have some sort of theme. And our theme, and actually all of our materials, are brown. They can just be a set of brown materials made with different textures and shades of colors of brown, maybe something that looks like that. Or maybe it's the same colors and it's the shapes that connect them, like that. Or maybe they're all torn. Or maybe they make some sort of pattern like this one. The best part about collage is you can do as much or as little. And for the little ones, they get to do their favorite things. They get to cut, tear, glue, and maybe even draw in all sorts of shades of brown. Activity number 12, exploration of colors, black and white. Including process art in early learning is actually intentional. We use process art because it focuses on the process of creating art rather than the end results. It is inviting because no matter what you end up with as your end result, it's perfect. It opens up the opportunity to create and express feelings, ideas, or simply the joy of exploring what happens when you use the materials. It is easy to see the difference between product focused art and process art. Process art has no rules in using the materials, and product focused art, you must use the materials in a certain way to be able to create that product. There are no instructions in process art, and that's because we're not all trying to create the same thing. Product focused art is when someone else's idea that has already been come up with, you're in charge of replicating that. Whereas art, you're actually creating your own creation. Process focused art means that there is a right product produced, and sometimes that creates tension in the experience. The benefits for using art, especially process art in early learning, is that it's a relaxing, pleasant experience that lasts exactly as long as the child wants. Every piece of art is perfect. And because the child creates the art, they can share their process in language, which creates the opportunities for great conversations. To maximize this experience, try doing the art yourself and then share your process with your child and what you are trying to do. The next exciting thing is at some point, the child has an idea. It may be as simple as, I wonder what putting the paint on the paper feels like. Or maybe it's, I wonder if I move the brush this way, what it will look like. And the more they do, they can compare their experiences and begin to predict results that can lead them to plan to do what they want to do. Watch your little ones as these skills develop because it's truly magical to see that planning process that actually um, begins to happen. All this work with brushes, tearing paper, cutting, gluing is helping them build their muscles and their control, both of which are essential for writing. So let's take a look at some of the black and white process art done by little children. This image on the left shows a child using black and white paint on white paper. Different strokes are used, sometimes the different amounts of paint, and sometimes they mix the two together. We could see that this child is learning and exploring through each of the different marks they make on the paper. This child is older and did two pictures and started thinking about tearing up one and then decided to use what they tore up and glued it to the second picture. Exciting, really interesting result. The next set of pictures were done by 2 and 3-year-olds by making lines on their paper, one line after another. But you can see some are vertical, some are perfectly straight, some are thin, some are thick, all very interesting. And then finally, we see here this one used stickers and paint and glue and paper, truly a mixed paper creation. So in your box, you're going to find white stickers, multiple pieces of black paper, and paint. We want to see what your child creates. Well, that's all for this week. Next session will be on Elephant and Piggy, which starts next week. Don't forget to post.